I'm Jenny Donheiser.
And I'm Nicole Spezio. And
And
this
this
is
is
How Are
How Are
You
You Brainwashed?
Brainwashed? Ah.
Hi, my good friend.
A huge announcement. If you're listening to this in your ears, you could go watch it on YouTube.
Yes.
This is our
Thank
first app
you.
that we are cross-posting to YouTube. And
Yeah.
so now if you are one of those kinds of people that like to look at your friends while you listen to them talk, you can watch this on YouTube.
Yeah. Get thee to YouTube and put it on while you do your laundry.
And famously, our YouTube channel is
At How Are You Brainwashed?
okay, great. Awesome. So go search for How Are You Brainwashed?
Yeah, you'll find it. Well, Nicole, how are you? Long
Well,
time no see. Just kidding. Nicole and I were at a wedding all weekend.
we'll get into this more in the app, but what the listeners need to know is that we were at the world's most unconventional wedding at a castle-themed Airbnb. It was a weekend extravaganza in a sort of medieval times vibed castle in
The Pocono.
Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And so much occurred, including a huge wedding-wide game of Traitors. The Traitors, where, spoiler alert, Jenny and I were both traitors.
About 50 people at this wedding, and there were 5 traitors, and Nicole and I
your
were
girls and we were 2 of them. We were 2 of them.
The father of the groom was a traitor.
And I turned on him real quick. I said, "You're a loose cannon. Get out of here." Traitor on traitor. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And ultimately, Nicole did win.
Ultimately, I did win the entire game of Traitors. The
Yeah.
faithfuls never were able to banish my ass at the round table that took place in a conference room at this castle where we would have to literally step into a circle of truth that would light up green or red based on if you were a traitor or a faithful.
The design, shout out to our good friend, Zachary Grady, friend of the pod. Incredible writer.
And shout out to our beautiful friends Ariel and Ollie, who were the actual bride and groom and said, "We want to have a Traitors extravaganza at our wedding."
Yeah, it was really, really fun.
It was crazy. And I have to say that, our community definitely did clock my ass as traitor, and our but not enough to banish me, so that's on them. But they really were convinced. You did, I think, some of your most respected acting of your career at this wedding.
Hashtag sad. Yeah, I came in a strategy unfolded before me. And it ended up really working in my favor, where I pretended. So we had to submit to our friend who was the host of the event, Zach, and say, I would like to be a traitor. And then you would, get emailed right before if you were going to be a traitor. And the faithfuls didn't know that the traitors had all been emailed prior to the wedding started. So I sort of stepped in it in the beginning, saying I submitted to be a traitor but hadn't heard, thinking, I don't know what I was even thinking. I was just thinking like, oh, that'll take the scent off me or something. Our friend's husband, was like going hard on everyone, being like, you're a traitor, you're a traitor. Kept saying to me on the car ride, you're a traitor, you're a traitor. I know it already. We hadn't even gotten there. And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, I submitted to be a traitor and I wasn't chosen. And he was like, what? And everybody was like, why would you say that, Jenny? But then it was revealed to the faithfuls that the traitors had been selected before we got there. So then everybody was like, whoa, nobody would ever say such a thing if they actually were a traitor.
Yeah.
And so then I really leaned into that, and it worked for me for a long time.
Yeah, till the top 3. We had an all traitor finale.
Yeah,
we had 3 traitors.
Yeah. We were communicating via email all weekend, us and the fellow traders. We were up to no good, writing in a murder book.
We had to do a murder in plain sight where we had to sort of take a Sharpie and write a name of who we'd like to murder on the bottom of a chess piece at the cocktail hour. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I also often said I was going to poop when I was actually murdering people.
Yes,
so
Jenny did use a huge poop strategy, and no one was the wiser because that's the brand of our friend.
Yeah, pooping is my brand. I use my poop brand in my favor.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
I thought I sort of did a good job, but many people did come up to me and say that they knew I was a traitor when they were voting for me to win. They felt that I played the best game.
You played an incredible game.
Thank you. And I did feel that I did play the best game and I did win ultimately. But I did not win. I may have gotten some votes from people who did believe that I was indeed faithful. I think at least one person said that they did that. But I think most people said, hey, she's Suri. She's Suri this game.
You worked
I
very
was
you
giving
you were
Parv. Yeah.
working. You were
Boston
working.
Rob, Phaedra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you to all the traders that have come before me. Wow, this was
Everyone should
I'm
have a
still
trader's
tired.
wedding. I'm still tired.
Like the whole day after every time I was checking my email, I was so stressed because I was
I
like,
know.
is there another mission? But then there wasn't any missions because it was over. But my body hadn't sort of learned yet that it was over. My body still felt stressed.
I saw an email you sent me Friday night yesterday. I was like, "Oh, wait, I missed an email from Nicole," because
I was scared to text you because I
yeah.
didn't,
Nicole wrote me an email at midnight on Friday that said, "Hi," subject, "Hi, Jenny." As if, like, nobody would think that was weird. If someone's looking over my shoulders, opening an email from Nicole that said, "Hi, Jenny."
I didn't
But then
know
you
what
texted
to
me
do.
anyway. I now recall you texting me that. I was
Yes.
smoking weed in the courtyard, so
I
I was
know.
not.
On Friday night, sort of there was a group activity where everyone did a scavenger hunt, and I did instead choose to have sex with my husband, and that's awesome and beautiful for me. But I did sort of miss out on that bonding experience, it seems like. But that's okay.
That's okay.
It's
You
okay to
had
have
your
sex with your
own
husband.
bonding experience.
I know that's right.
You conceiving more twins?
Never, ever, ever. It was a really euphoric, psychotic weekend, and I'm so grateful for it. And I'm so grateful to actually talk to our guest about it.
Me too. Let's bring her in.
Okay, I am so excited to have this guest. She is an amazing actress. You have seen her in Lady Bird, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Mad Men. She plays such incredible parts on my two literal actual favorite shows of all time. The Comeback and Enlightened. Show me better shows, there are none. Please welcome to the pod, Bayne Gibby.
Hello.
Hi, Bayne.
Hello.
Hey, that was such a nice introduction. Thank you.
Babe, you came with the credits. I mean, I had to do nothing myself except just tell the truth.
Wow, just 3 gals in their glasses, in
I
their
know. I was
chic
so happy to see you
frames.
guys all have your glasses on because sometimes I have such reflection that it causes problems for people. But no, we're all just looking at us with each other with our little peepers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this, just to be clear, this could not be lower stakes. If there glares in the glasses, it's okay. People need to be okay with that.
Okay, I'm so glad you said that because you might hear a dog bark, you might
Yeah.
hear neighbors arguing. We just don't know what's going to happen in
Do you have neighbors that argue?
I have like really deeply eccentric neighbors. I had a neighbor that became so familiar during the pandemic, like this older lady, that I had to get a do not disturb sign for my front door
Like,
Oh,
she would
because
just
she would
come
no.
just
in?
she would not just come in because the door was locked, but she would knock on the door like at any and all hours. And it was always well intentioned, but I'd be in here like recording a podcast or doing a self tape, and which there were so many during the pandemic. It was like you weren't going anywhere. So I was
Yeah.
always up to something in here, which she just thought I was like a lady of leisure. So she could be like, I made some chili, like it was always something really nice. And I would come out and I would be like, you just ruined it. I was
Yeah.
in the middle of a take and she would be like, "You're in the middle of a cake. I'll have some cake." No, a take, a take. And I was like, I was so irritated. And then I was like, she's just this nice older lady who's trying to bring you some chili, but I couldn't like ever get her to understand I was working. I was quote, put it in quotes, trying to get a job. I was like,
Yeah.
there was things going on that I considered important. And so I finally got like one of those hotels.
Wow.
Like, if when I was taping, I would just put it on my front gate because she would just come through the gate and I'd be like, I'm going to put the do not disturb. I think that's the nicest way. she would come through anyway. And finally I said, "Hey, I think, before you come over, I just need you to shoot me a text. And you can just shoot me a text and say, hey, I made some chili." But it was I was, I was like, I felt like such a jerk because it was always something very sweet like that, and then I felt like the kinda killjoy that was like, "Hey, I'm trying to get a Home Depot commercial over here, like, you're interrupting this really important work I'm doing."
I think those are quite fair boundaries to put up.
Yes,
I mean,
from a
how much
neighbor.
chili can one person eat with all due, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I was just drunk with chili, and I think everybody was so desperate for company and stuff like that. Then I kind of became known as like, "Well, you don't want to bother Bane." Like I kind of became known as the
Whoa.
jerk on the block
Aw,
for a
you?
minute.
No way.
It's tough. It's tough because it's like you want to be part of the, kind of the courtyard goings-ons. You want to be part of the thing, but you don't always need to be part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Jenny and I just were at one of our best friends' weddings this past
Mm.
weekend, and it was like a whole thing, which is the point is there was a lot of new people, and I really can only be friendly to strangers or my 4 best friends. Like that middle tier of I have a hard time making conversation with anyone that's not just like a Uber driver that I'll see for 4 minutes and then never again.
I totally understand the middle range.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
middle range is very hard because you don't have any experience with their behaviors or their quirks,
Mhm.
and so you don't know. Perfect example, my friend was having a milestone birthday, and we were all going to go to Austin and stay in this Airbnb, and it was like I knew, a bunch of people there, and then there was some people I didn't know, and we had two houses next to each other. I was like, "I'll just take this room because 'cause I'm, like, the first person here," and I kinda put my stuff in, and I came back from, like, doing something in the kitchen, and, like, my bags had been moved, like, to the hallway, and they were like, "Blood relatives only in this house, friends in the back house." And I was like, "Oh, we're getting into blood relative
Blood relatives.
differentiation."
What is this, Game of Thrones? That feels like so, like, I don't know, like royal family. I
It
guess I
was, and I
get
was like,
it.
"I'll just go to the back house now," which also was awesome, but I was like, "Well, that could have been an email." Like, we could have,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right, right, right,
like,
right, right, right,
before
right,
the
right,
weekend, we
right.
could have said, like, "Hey, all the, like, immediate family is gonna be in this one house, and all the
Right.
rest of you disgusting pieces of shit will be in the back."
Yeah, Airbnb, like, bachelorette party, birthday, like,
Yeah.
bringing together, like, groups, like, you just never know what is gonna happen. This trip, I will say, really, it ended up being a really lovely batch of people, but it is
Yeah.
hard to,
It's not
like.
about that. It's not
Yeah,
the
yeah,
people are
it's like.
always nice. It's just like I don't know how to talk to a friend of a friend. I
Yeah,
struggle.
well, then there's always the, like, "So how do you know Jen?" Or,
Right.
like,
Right.
and then, like,
Yeah.
that
"Where do you
conversation.
live?" And they're like, "North Carolina," and you're like, "Oh,
Uh,
what's that like?"
I
Is it hot there? Get hot? Just, like, throw me in
right.
anything.
I know. I'm, like, deep in the, like, playground mom of it all. I
Oh
have
god.
Oh,
a and,
there's
like,
probably
it's
so many weird conversations that happen.
so many, and today I saw a woman that I had, like, talked to last week, like, had, like, a full-on conversation with. Sadly, though, like, I saw her today and my, like, stomach sank. I was like, "Oh, no, that lady's here. She's gonna wanna talk to me again because we talked for
Yeah.
so long last week." But, like,
Yeah.
why is that my gut reaction that I don't wanna talk
Well,
to that lady?
probably because for you,
Even
it
though
was
I
not a
liked
satisfying
her.
conversation. Oh, you did?
I
Just
did
because it
like
feels like
her.
work. Does it feel like
Yeah.
work?
You
Yeah.
were trying to yeah, what you were doing was babysitting your child. What's the word for that? Just parenting, taking care of your own
I was
child?
just parenting at the park.
It's like
Parenting at the
to
park.
to then have to
I
talk.
know, I
Yeah.
Well,
know.
it's like the parenting with the extra added ingredient of, like, a cocktail party, like a work cocktail
Yeah.
party,
Right, right.
obligatory cocktail party. I went to a party yesterday. I pushed myself kind of outside my comfort zone where I did one sketch in a new sketch comedy show that's going to be on the Cartoon Network. I think it's going to be really funny. So I was there for one day. I worked with like maybe 5 people, really awesome. I knew one of them. I didn't know most of them. And then I got an email like, we're having a wrap party. And I thought, "Look, did I get this email by mistake? Because I was just there for one day. And then I was like, no, I think they're just having a really cute, like, wrap party at someone's house on a Sunday afternoon. And I've been saying I want to kind of say yes to more things, and so I was like, I'm gonna go. But then as I was driving there, I was like having all those thoughts like, well, they said pool party. Are people gonna actually go in the pool? Am I just gonna be like walking around in my bathing suit in front of all these,
Mhm.
like all those things of like, well, what is this gonna be? Am I gonna know anybody? Of course I walk in and I see like 3 people immediately that I know, and so I'm like, "Oh, okay." But then I did get in the pool, and people were kinda, like, hitting around like a like a volleyball, and I was like, "I feel really vulnerable because like, I don't know anybody, and they all seem to know each other, and I'm just gonna kinda swim next to them, and hopefully they'll be like, 'Hey,' and I'll just sort of, like, get folded, like, into whatever this game is." And it
Bu
never happened. I was just like,
Oh.
I just had like, I had like a noodle here, and I was just like breaststroking, and I was like giving them like this open energy, like, and they just like kept playing, and I just kept like swimming back and forth, and it brought up all so many
Yeah,
elementary where I was just like, well, maybe I'll do one. Let's try one more lap, and like, eventually the ball will just like hit me, and we'll all laugh about that, or like, so I just swam around in the
yeah,
proximity of them laughing and having fun. And I could have sort of said, like, hey, I'm Bane or what. I just couldn't quite get to
Yeah.
there. So I just kind of awkwardly swam around. But then I got out of the pool and then I ended up like having a really lovely conversation about lost luggage with some
mm,
people I'd never met. That was like
yeah.
a great icebreaker.
That is a good equalizer
Yeah.
topic.
Everybody's got a lost bag
Yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
But I
file that
left
away.
there like, wow, that was such an emotional roller coaster for literally just going to like a pool party. But I felt like as an adult, it gets harder
Yeah.
to kind of put yourself in these to be like, well, I'm just going to show up. I think I might know 3 people, but I did only spend the day with them and I kind of remember their names. Like it was that sort of,
Mhm, mhm.
but I
Mhm.
was like, why should that be? I'm going to just sit home and not go to a pool?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
On
when a
this
pool is
hot
offered, yeah.
freaking day, like, it's
Yeah.
like the surface of the sun here in LA this past week, and I'm not gonna go to
Mhm.
a pool party, but it definitely took me a little I had to, like, get the oil can out and be like, "You can do this, like, you know how to talk to people."
I know. I know, and so do you, Nicole. I mean, both of you are very, very charming people, so it's like but even the most charming people get stuck in their
Wait, I have
heads.
a I have a question. Was there anything totally outrageous that happened at this wedding?
Bane, the question you have asked
It
is
it
so
it was okay. It wasn't a traditional wedding. This was like a reception that was a Airbnb trip with 50 of their closest family and friends. They'd already gotten married, and this
Okay.
was the party. So there
Yeah.
was nothing really resembling a wedding. We did play a murder mystery though. We
we
basically
played
we
the Traitors.
And was your name, like, Titsy Von Tits? Or, like,
no,
like, you all had, like, crazy character names?
it was a copy of the Traitors TV show. Have you
Okay,
watched
which I
that?
love. I love
Yeah. Oh,
Traitors.
yeah. We played Traitors.
Okay.
Genius friend of the pod, Zachary Grady, essentially just put us in an episode of Traitors for
Yeah.
the weekend. Also, we need to say that this Airbnb is castle themed
Yeah.
Ooh, where were you
and
guys?
The
Poconos,
Sorry.
Poconos?
Pennsylvania.
Stop. That's where my family has a cabin there. Where in the Poconos were you?
Okay, Beach Lake. Is that
Beach Lake,
Beach
Pennsylvania.
Lake,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania? Hilltop Castle, Beach Lake, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. You can Google it.
Okay, I love that you were in the Poconos and you did a murder mystery / Traitors
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
castle-themed structure.
I can't even begin to the castle, there was, like, a basketball court in the castle, there was a mini golf in the
Bowling
basement, there was a
alley.
bowling alley,
Yeah.
I've never in my life it was like a so to ask, did anything weird happen at this wedding? It's like, this
Like,
is
the
the
whole
wedding for that
thing.
question, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
first of all, I love that you're literally in the heart of cabin culture, like woodsy. You'd think like the theme would be woodsy as shit, like
Mhm.
log cabin, but no, you're in a castle
Yeah,
in an environment that is completely antithetical
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
castle culture.
it's crazy.
I mean, yeah, but a castle in the sense of, like, medieval times being a castle. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
It was,
right.
like,
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah,
felt more
not
like a
Downton
set.
Abbey.
You were
Yeah,
yeah,
you were on a set.
we
If
were
you
on a
knocked
set.
too hard on the stone, you would realize it had been built by a team of theater people.
Yes. Yes.
absolutely. It was a community theater production of Spamalot with, like, a huge budget.
Oh my god, I so wish I had been there.
It was,
Was a
it
blast.
was I
It
can
was
never
amazing.
crazy.
There was also a scavenger hunt built into the
The
Airbnb,
grounds.
like, into the grounds. There was, like, QR codes all around, and, like, you would,
Stop.
like, find secret rooms all throughout the castle, and they were, like, not just, like, a little room off the kitchen. There was one that was, like, fully underground. You went through a tunnel to get to an area where there was, like, 4 rooms. It was so wild.
That is who played the Alan Cumming character? Like, was it, like, the groom or the bride or
No, the
No.
groom and the bride the groom and the bride said, "We want to really just be in the game. We don't wanna know anything about who's
Yeah,
actually a faithful, who's actually a traitor. We wanna just, like, be watching TV around us." So,
right.
the game master, Zachary Grady, conceived of all of the challenges of casted the traitors from the wedding guests, picked how many people would die, how they would die, all the mechanics of the game. It had a gorgeous, iconic outfit change for every round
Yeah.
table.
Ugh,
There was
that
a
is
conference room
amazing.
also, so there was a legit round table at this conference room where we all shit talked each other. It was crazy. It was crazy.
I ugh, I'm having FOMO.
Yeah, I we all were like, "You need to do this every 5 years. Like,
Yeah,
it has to
Yeah,
yes.
happen
yeah, yeah.
again."
Well,
Yeah.
and also that there was somebody like him who really took charge and was like clearly had put a lot of time, energy,
Yeah.
love
Mhm.
into preparing it because it kind of could have been a big mess, but it
Yes.
Yes.
sounds like no, it was really amazing and fun and crazy.
It worked
Everyone
so well.
Yeah, everyone rose to the occasion. It was it was incredible. It was amazing.
Nicole was a traitor and she did win.
You did?
I ultimately and Jenny was also a traitor and she made it to the top 3. So
Yep,
we did
yep.
pretty well for
We did
ourselves,
pretty
we have
well
to
as
say.
traitors, yeah.
What was the longevity of the game?
So it's 24 hours.
Yeah,
Was it
it
24
started
hours?
Friday night and ended
And it's
Saturday
Saturday
night,
night.
yeah.
And we had to kill 50 people.
And there was
Yeah.
a murder book stored in a bathroom. We had to go sneak into the bathroom in plain sight and write people's names into a murder book and then deliver
It's
it to our
crazy.
friend.
Was there a lot of crazy misspelling of people's names like there is on Traitors?
Well, my favorite
Yeah.
thing was that there were, like, 3 Bens, so it had to
Oh,
be bachelor rules of, like, well, do you wanna
yeah.
kill Ben
Yeah.
R or Ben
R.
A? You have to
Yeah.
specify.
Yeah. Or like on Traitors, it will be like someone has just spent weeks in a castle and they spell the person's name like in this insane way,
Yes.
like not even starting with the right letter and
Right, no one could
like
spell
Sierra. Nobody
Sierra.
could do
Yes.
Yeah, Sierra was a real tough one for them all.
and Ivor, Ivor, like
Yeah.
Oh
people
my
were like writing
god.
like IVA. I was like, which I'm familiar with. I mean, somebody just sent a correspondence to me today, and like was like an apology. Like I went out Saturday night and somebody's spouse misbehaved, and there was like a letter written to all of us, like an apology, and then at the bottom it was like, "Please share this with Bayne," but my name was spelled wrong.
Oh God.
Ooh.
Please share with Spain. I don't have her email. Forward.
It said like Bayne, it's spelled BAIN, and then it was like in parens like SP question mark, and I was like, well, you could have like done a little work. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
I mean, in
pretty
an
frugal.
apology, and maybe want to sort of ask somebody how to spell your name, do a quick
Yeah,
Google.
yeah. It made the apology hit less legit. Oh, I feel maybe I should put her in the other
Spooky.
room. Give me 1 sec. I
Oh,
think the end of the day, people are in the courtyard, and she was like barking at them. So yeah.
yeah. LA is very courtyard vibes. We don't really have. I guess actually, Nicole, you have a courtyard.
I do have a courtyard.
Yeah.
But do people even interact? Because I lived in the same Brooklyn brownstone for 8.5 years, and just in like the few months before I left, did I even meet the woman who lived directly next to me on my same floor. And it was only
Yeah.
because, this is insane, I saw her on Saturday Night Live. She was a backup singer to My Milkshake Brings All the Boys in the Yard. And I was like, holy shit, I live next door to that woman. I don't even know her name. She was the backup singer. And I was like, am I hallucinating this? And then the next time I saw her in the hall, I was like, am I crazy, or did I just see you on Saturday Night Live? She's like, oh no, that was me. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Isn't that insane?
Wow. Singing the milkshake song.
Singing the milkshake. And I was
Please.
like, we could have been friends
Please.
this whole
Yeah.
time, but there was just this unspoken thing in that building. Nobody spoke. And then I moved here, and it's like the opposite culture. It's like people bringing you chili at all hours.
Right.
Do
Constant
not
chili.
disturb.
Constant indigestion.
Oh my God, Jenny, I didn't tell you this. So in my apartment building WhatsApp group, someone said, I have an extra cat bowl. Would someone like it? I said, sure, I'll take that cat bowl. So I took my neighbor's cat bowl, and then I, of course, always sort of like to Google my neighbors. Like if I can get a name on someone, I'm like to see like what's going on. Who
Yeah.
are you?
Yeah,
Classic.
I'll just do
Nicole.
some light. I'll just do some light investigation.
Yeah, I like to
Nothing
see what's
weird.
going on. And the neighbor lives in one of the penthouses in the building. So of course I was like, okay, like what's going on with this neighbor? He's big podcaster.
Oh my God.
Can
Big
you believe I
podcaster
have big
for
podcaster, a podcaster who lives in the penthouse? Can you believe?
whoa.
But what I
off
want to know
podcast
is,
money?
like, what happened to the cat, and why does the cat not need the bowl?
Oh, this is what it is. It's because he's rich influencer podcast. Well, I don't know if he's rich, but like it very clearly was like merch, like free merch
Oh, it
that
was
he
like
got
a
sent. Yeah.
swag bowl.
Oh, did you catch what's the podcast?
I'll get the information.
Yeah.
I was too just shocked by someone who had a podcast had money enough to live in the penthouse. I just
That
forgot
wasn't
everything
like
else.
already rich before they had a podcast.
And then maybe they are. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe
We
they were
never know. We never
already-
know how people get their money.
No, it's so annoying. We should
That's
be
the
able to
beauty of the
say.
big building, and not,
Exactly.
it's like only murders in the building. It's like sometimes
Yes.
you don't want to know what's going on in that big
So
building.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got to befriend this guy.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, it would be nice if you could sort of like check out his, like, does he have like a really nice podcast setup? Does he have like,
It's true. I could start bringing him chili at all hours of the night and say,
yeah,
hey, can I get in there to record an ep? And
Yeah.
I'm sure he would love that.
yeah. Just check out
I
kind of
get in
what
there
kind
to
of
record an app. Yeah, he probably has like a full set. You know how everyone's on a set these days. Maybe he has a
a
full set.
set with some plants and
Yes.
some fake plants and
Yes. Maybe we can redesign the set every week for How We Brainwash. We can share set.
I'm sure that's what this man wanted when he was trying to get rid of his cat bowl.
I that you wouldn't just like throw it in the bag with the stuff, other stuff you're gonna bring to Goodwill in like the next month. Like I love that it, like on the WhatsApp, he's like, would anyone like a cat bowl?
A
Like, so
branded
specific.
cat
All right.
bowl.
Well, to be honest, there's also some brothy treats as well.
Okay,
So
okay.
I got a little bit more than just the bowl.
Just a bowl. Okay, it was a whole
They
swag bag.
did make my cat puke, so I
Ugh.
haven't continued using them.
God, the free stuff is always a gamble, isn't it?
Yeah. Got a little sensitive tummy, this cat.
Oh.
Same with this one. Same with this little Barker.
Little
Yeah.
sensy tummy.
And same with
Yeah,
me,
these
you
little
And
know?
same with
we're
Jenny,
all
yeah.
Yeah,
just delicate flowers, all of us.
yeah.
I'm sure you're gonna say, "We can't tell you shit," but the comeback's coming back. Are you excited about that? Do you have any feelings about it?
I have so many feelings. I have so many feelings, the most of which is like this, like,
Yeah.
are
For
they
those who are
calling yet?
listening, yeah, Bayne is looking at her phone, anxiously looking at her phone.
Anxiously, anxiously. No,
Mhm.
I will tell you what a lot of people have asked, and I will tell you the truth, which is that I don't know anything yet. I'm hopeful that I will somehow be involved. I would love to just pass through in a party scene, anything, but I don't know yet. And I have just, made sure they know that, like, I'm still acting and, like, I'm available and interested. And
Absolutely. Get Gigi back on my
Yes,
get
girl
screen.
Gigi, like,
writer. Get girl
I would
writer
love
in
Lady
there.
Rider.
Gigi to have a little I'd love to find her
Yeah.
somewhere positive,
Yes.
successful, happy, healthy, not having type
Yes.
2 diabetes.
Yes.
Like I would just love to see her, thriving, and we'll see. And if I'm not, I will anxiously watch it as a fan like everybody else, because that job and that whole experience really changed the course of my life. I was living in New York City. I came out here for that, and then I ended up staying, which is something
Wow.
I thought I was a New Yorker for life. I grew up in
Mm.
Jersey. I was like locked into the New York scene. I thought this is what I'm going to do. Specifically theater. I was like, I'm not a TV person, because someone had told me when I was just out of college that I was not attractive enough to be on television. And, so I was like, oh yeah, I love theater. I'm theater trained, blah blah blah. So the fact that I ended up here and TV kind of ended up being something that I've done for the last 20 years was such a shock to me and such a delight. So the comeback really was sort of one of those moments and I felt it when I auditioned. I didn't know exactly how, but I was like, I just set something in motion that is going to change the course of my life. It just
Wow.
really had a strong feeling. And I thought, well, this might take some time, because they were like, well, they're filming this pilot, and who knows if that's even going to get picked up, and blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
all this stuff. And then because I auditioned to play Jane, Laura Silverman's part,
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
and it came down to the two of us. And then she got the role, but they were
Yeah.
nice enough to tell me, they were like, listen, the role was written for her. Like, it was written for her. They needed to have another alternative to test against. So you didn't really have a shot at this. But the good news is they really like you, and they have this idea that and that was a big if at the time,
Mhm.
if it gets picked up and they start shooting, which would be in about 6 months, they have this idea for a writer character. And I remember when I would tell that to people, because I was unrepresented at that time. I didn't have an agent or anything. And I was like, well, they said this. People were like, I think they just said that to, like, make you feel better. And I didn't say this out loud to them, but I was like, I just think this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
was like, I just think I'm going to play that writer character.
Yeah.
And I kinda had it in mind, because they were like, "Well, if they got picked up, that would be March, end of March." I remember when March came, I was like, "I just better be ready, because I think I might get a phone call." And that is what happened.
Oh my
Wow.
And I had
god.
no reason to think that. I was teaching
Yeah.
preschool. I was auditioning for commercials here and there, but that was really it. I didn't have a lot going on. So when I say I had this feeling, it wasn't me being like, "Oh yeah, I'm all aligned for this. Like, this is the next step." It was like, this was a huge leap, which
Mm.
is why I didn't really verbalize it to people, because it sounded like I was totally delusional. But I just had this very strong feeling
Mm.
Yeah.
that that was going to happen. And then when it did, it just kind of was like everything went into like 2.0 speed, like everything just sped up. I ended up coming here, staying here, then coming back to Brooklyn, getting rid of my apartment after a year. And then I just ended up staying here, which was not the plan. It was going to be New York City for me
Yeah. Wow.
always. And I hope I can come back at some point and kind of like do another like chapter, because when I was
Yeah.
there, I was so young and broke and you
Yeah.
know, like I'm so nostalgic for it, but it was a miracle that I even kind of kept the doors open. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're just going on a wing and a prayer, and I'd love to come back and have like a little bit more of a regulated, you know, like a little more of an adult experience.
Right.
But hopefully that can happen at some point. I can get a job where I come for a couple months and get to like live out my New York City fantasies again.
Yes.
Yes. Eat at a
Oh my
real
god.
restaurant,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
thinking about, like, what we ate
Oh
when
my
we first moved
God.
here, I'm like, I didn't understand that New York was, like, a foodie place because
The
I
empty
couldn't.
refrigerator, like, nothing was in there,
Yeah.
nothing, not even baking soda, like, I didn't eat I would buy the coffee at the bodega, you know,
Yeah.
and then you'd go to your day job, then you'd do an improv show at night, you would come home at 11, like, you were
Yeah.
not eating any meals
Right.
at home, ever.
Yeah. You were eating a foot long that for half for lunch, half for
Yes.
dinner.
Exactly,
Wow.
yeah.
Man, those $5 footlongs
Those
really
di
sustained me for a long time. This is
It's
good
so
thing.
true, it's so true. Yeah, they were like, "Groceries," like,
Yeah.
huh, what would
Yeah.
that I don't even know what I would
How do I
buy.
even carry, like, what do I even how do I
That's
wow,
the other
that's a
thing. Carrying the groceries from the store was like you
I'm
couldn't
still
get
doing
too much
that.
at a time.
I know
Yeah.
everyone makes that. I certainly made that mistake the first time I went grocery shopping at 18, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't
A
I
gallon of
didn't
milk.
realize I would have
Yeah.
to carry this all on my back like a donkey to my
That's
dorm
right.
room."
Did you go to NYU?
We
Yes,
both
yes,
did,
we
yeah.
did.
Is that where you guys met?
Mhm.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that was just like, yeah, 3, 4 years
Yeah, just
ago.
like just yesterday.
Just 5 seconds ago. Yeah. Should we ask Bane our question of our
Oh
pod?
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm,
Okay,
mhm,
so
mhm.
Bane, on our
Mhm.
podcast, How Are You Brainwashed? We like to ask all of our guests that question. So, by that, we mean, was there something you used to think was just like true, the way the world worked? It just was like a fact of how it was. And then at some point, you looked at it differently and you were like, wait, I feel like maybe that was just brainwashing this whole time.
Yeah, so I thought about this, and I wanted to kind of go back to the original Gaslight, the first one I remember, which planted the seed for some other strange superstitions. I'm going to go all the way back to childhood to don't step on the crack or you break your mama's back
Whoa.
was a seed that is planted. I think is so destructive because nobody's thinking about the if then
Yeah.
of behavior until somebody says it. And then you find yourself walking down the sidewalk, not stepping on the cracks. The idea that what you do could actually create an outcome of good or bad. And obviously, you're like, well, I know this, nobody's going to break their back. But then I do remember in fifth grade getting into some strange superstitions that were kind of the off ramp of little things like that. And one of them was going from New Jersey into New York City. You would go under so many overpasses, like on the
Mhm.
Garden State Parkway or whatever route you chose. And somebody had told me it was bad luck if you were going under an overpass. You had to put your hands on the roof, like the ceiling of the car, and lift your feet up for the duration of like when the car was going under the, you know, the overpass.
Whoa,
And
flexible.
I and I remember when I was in 5th grade, we were going into New York City because I had been I had been in a community theater production of Peter Pan,
Wow.
and I played like I was in just like in the chorus. I was one of Tiger Lily's dancers. And but I was really like a scene stealer. Like I was very aware that I had a very small part, and so I was really mugging and like giving a lot of face. Like I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, wait,
I knew
how
what I was
old?
doing. And so I was in 5th
Oh
grade,
my god, cute.
10, 11.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was my dreams coming true. It was like someone had scouted me from New York City. It was like, a manager. Her name was Barbara Jarrett, and she was like a million years old. And she wasn't like quite Joey's agent, but it was like kind of that vibe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we're talking about the 80s, and it was like called Barbara Jarrett Management Company. And it was like, you just like caught my eye and like, do you want to audition? And I was like, yes. And my mom was kind of like, let's like,
Yeah.
which is sort of the vibe of my whole childhood. Like it was like, Mama, I want to sing. She's like, well, let's just see. Like your brother has soccer and your other brother has hockey, like let's I don't know if I want to be driving into New York City. So this manager had been like, okay, so you're going to go in and you're going to go on they were basically like go-sees with these commercial
Right. Oh my
agents.
god.
But I didn't understand I didn't know what this really was, which was like, you're going to go and they want to see a kid that has like personality. And he's like, hi, I'm, like I could audition for commercials. I really didn't understand it. And they said to my mom, dress her preppy. Now, my mom is like really old school. So my mom put me in a kilt.
Oh, whoa. Like
What they
private
meant was
school?
like a polo shirt with like the
Right.
collar up and like a little green shirt with like a
Yeah.
pink polo and like, cords. And my mom was like, well, this is preppy. And so it was a kilt with one of those big pins, like a 1960s, like, Sarah Lawrence student.
Whoa.
like, like it
Yeah.
was like old fashioned preppy. And so a kilt and then like a boiled wool, like bolero, like cardigan. I looked like I was
Oh
like
god.
selling real estate. Like I was like a 60-year-old real estate agent. Like it's a lovely house.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I think I was in penny loafers.
Oh my
And
god.
my mom was like, they said preppy. I mean, she was so, God bless her. She was like so out of her comfort zone. She was like,
No.
this is preppy. So we were going in, and I knew this was a big deal, and I really wanted it to go well. So every time we'd go under these overpasses, I was like, like,
Oh,
then like,
yeah.
another like half mile, like this the whole way. Like, it's got to go well. It's got to go well. And we ended up going to these things that I just didn't understand that I was supposed to sort of show pizzazz and personality. So they would be like, "Is that your school uniform?" And I'm like, "No." Just like silence.
Right, right.
And
No.
I was like, "Why do people keep asking me that?" Because like everywhere I went, they were like, "Is that your school uniform? Like, do you go to Catholic school?" Because that's what it looked like. And I was like,
Right.
"No, why do people keep asking me that?" I was like kind of obnoxious. I didn't understand. And I was like, "No, this is preppy." And they were like, "Okay." They're like, "So how old are you?" And I was like, 11. I was just like
Mhm.
I was not getting it. I was like not doing it. The whole day was like this really weird, embarrassing because like you tell my mom was sort of like, what's like happening? It's like when they go like, well, she's really funny at home. It's like that kind
Uh-huh.
of thing. And I didn't understand that I was, like, failing, and my mom had never said, like, "Hey, this is kinda like a job interview, like, you need to be like, tell funny stories or do whatever." Like, I just didn't she didn't prepare me, I didn't understand. So we get in the car and we're driving home, and she's just like, "Yeah, I don't know what to say, like, that didn't go well." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Bayne, you didn't talk. They're asking you all these questions, and you're just giving one-word answers." And I was like, that's so weird because I did the thing on the way
Oh.
that was
Aw.
supposed to give me good luck,
Right.
and, like, maybe like, it was like I was doing that bargaining thing of, like, "Well, maybe it wasn't so bad, maybe you're
Mhm.
just being critical," and then, like, the manager called and was like, "So what happened? They said you didn't talk?"
Mhm.
Oh. Yeah.
And I was just like, well, I remember being like, well, nobody told me that it was basically like
Right.
I was
How could you
supposed to
have
kind of
known?
do
Yeah.
I was so young. But I
Yeah.
still think of
11-year-olds don't
like
know to be a charming party guest. It's a
yeah, I
crazy
didn't
ask.
know. I was like and I think about that now when I go on like the sort of like what do you call them? Generals. And it's
Yeah.
basically like you're just supposed to be fun and entertaining.
Mhm.
And now I'm always just like so supercharged because I
Right.
remember
Because of
Mhm.
that
just like
wall.
flatlining and then people like feeling shame about it, being like, you didn't, my mom was like, you didn't do anything. Like, you didn't even smile. And she was so not a show parent. She was just like,
Mhm.
you pushed us into this. And then I was kind of like the frog, like the that gets in front of people, just like ribbit, ribbit, and then like what, in private, he's like, "Hello, my baby, open
Yeah.
arms." And then they're like, "We got to get this frog in front of the crowd." It's like the WB frog, and then they put him in front of this huge crowd, and he's like, "Ribbit, ribbit." They're like, "No, I swear this
Yes,
frog
yes, yes.
sings." Like I was totally like the WB frog.
Aw. I
But I
mean,
just remember, like, thinking, like, how could this have gone so wrong? Because I
Yeah.
did the thing
here's
where
the thing.
I was supposed to bring myself, good luck.
I know. There's so many things like that when you're a kid, like holding your breath in the
Yes.
cemetery and like weird things that
Walking
they
under ladders and opening umbrellas
Yes.
and doors and like
Yeah.
yeah, what the fuck? Why are we making little kids feel like scared? A, that they can control anything, and
Right. Yeah.
B, that like this. Why are we scared? Why are we getting scared?
Well, I also think it's like such a strange thing for your brain to think that your behavior can influence an outcome. I mean,
Right.
I even feel like when I'm
Yeah,
watching the Olympics, or just yesterday I was watching the US Open, and it's like you think, oh, like if I start rooting for the other person, like they might start winning, or like you have this weird delusion that something that you do can
uh-huh.
Yeah.
actually cause, and then I think we all have weird superstitions of like, well, the last time I had success fit with fill
Yeah,
in the blank, I wore this shirt, or
Right. Right.
I
Right.
ate
Right.
this meal, or like I did this thing the night before, or I didn't. I didn't have a
hmm
drink the night before and I was much better, or whatever it being, of like where it really starts to become real. And then you can understand why people end up doing things like counting things and being like,
hmm
oh, I have to do these rituals because it's all just a want for control.
Right.
yeah,
And to feel like we can bend things to our will, It
100%.
It's interesting because I feel like there's some truth to the placebo effect of like giving yourself confidence because you did the thing and therefore you are coming. Yeah. But then there's also just like a delusion factor of like people who have to wear those like sturdy socks every time to win their game. I don't know. Like
Yes, or
it's
like
a fun
rally caps, they turn the cap inside out when they're watching a sporting event, and all the crazy things they do because they think it's gonna turn
kind of
make their
effect.
team win. And
Yeah, but I feel like there's also a difference of like I wear like my grandma's ring on special days because it makes me feel like happy, or it gives me joy or whatever, like, and like if you step on the sidewalk you're gonna kill your mom,
kill
like
Yeah, right,
someone.
right,
Yeah,
right.
you're gonna kill
Right, right,
someone.
different.
right.
This will
Yeah.
be something you can prevent
Yeah.
or make happen, is a bananas thing, even in sort of like a fun childhood. It's a very
Yeah,
weird seed to plant.
Right.
I mean, even like statistically, like aren't like black cats like always like under adopted because they're coded as unlucky?
Yeah,
Like
Aw.
it's crazy.
it is crazy. My neighbor has a black cat named Nancy, and she's so
My god,
pretty.
perfect.
I
Nancy, we
know,
love
Nancy.
you.
We
We
stand
love you.
Nancy.
But yeah, it's there's a lot of superstition, I think, around black cats, but they're so beautiful, and they're,
Yeah,
justice for black cats, guys. Like,
Absolute.
they
absolutely.
need loving forever homes too.
Yeah.
So
Wait, I
crazy.
do wanna say that I think it's crazy
Yeah.
to send a
Yeah.
child to do a bunch of go-sees, like, for commercials, like, just have them read copy.
It's
What
so
11
insane.
well,
It's children are not supposed to sort of be making conversation. It's
yeah,
crazy.
charming
Right.
charming adults, like, I don't know, that's
Yeah,
weird.
no, the whole thing was very weird, and it's not surprising that my mom was sort of like, "I don't think we're ready for this, like, why don't you just keep doing sort of the school plays, and,
Yeah,
you can move to New York City when you're older and audition for things." And that's kind of what ended up happening, and then there's like all of the same stuff happens to you as an adult, just in a different way, and you're
right,
able
yeah.
to kind of laugh at it more and be like, this is so insane that somebody is telling me, like that man told me that I was never gonna act on television because
Idiot.
television was a
Yeah.
medium of fantasy, and he said in these exact words, he said, "And you're nobody's fantasy."
He
Okay,
he
Bane,
he should be burned at the stake,
who
A.
yeah, was this like a casting director or like an agent?
Yeah, it was an agent, but the great, like, last chapter to this story is that when I got on the comeback, I had my little postcards made up, and I sent him a postcard, and I said, "I don't know if you remember me, but I actually got a job in television, and I hope you'll tune in on Sunday night and watch me on HBO."
That's so
Hell
powerful.
yes. Hell
It
yes.
felt pretty amazing. I mean, I don't know if he got it or remembered, or and it didn't really matter because I always say this in context of, like, teaching or interacting with people who are freshly out of college or in college. I say, be really careful what you believe from adults, even from people
Hmm.
with important jobs.
Mhm.
Because if you take everything that anybody says who seems like they have an important job or an important whatever, they seem like they know what they're doing, it could totally derail you. If I had
Mhm.
listened to that man on that day when
Yeah.
I was 24 years old, I could have just said like, "Oh, well, I guess that's it." But I knew better, and I stood up in the meeting, and I put my hand out, and I said, "I think this meeting is over." And I went to shake his hand, which also was one of the more powerful things I've done, and I don't know where it came from because
Yes.
I was really young. I stood up, and I said, "I think this meeting is over." And he was like, "Oh." And I said, "Yeah, I think we've come to the end of the meeting, and I have to go catch a train to New Jersey because I was literally living in, like, my childhood, I was living at my mom's house. And I said, "Just know that you can stand up and say, 'I think this meeting is over,'
Mhm.
because not every adult, A, is gonna be well-intentioned, and B, is gonna
Mhm.
know what they're talking about. Because maybe he really did think he was doing me a favor. He might have, who knows? He
Power
said what
trip.
he said, it was a different time and place, but just beware of what people say to you. You don't have to take everything, and not everybody is an expert. Not everybody knows what they're talking about. People have bad days, and filter what adults say to you, even though they're older and experienced, because they could really mess you up.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad I didn't I didn't believe him.
That's such like
Yeah.
a impressive sense of self to have of like, "Oh, what you're giving to me is poison, and, like, I
Mhm.
will not be drinking it. Thank you."
I will not
Yeah.
drink it.
Yeah.
I drink
Oh.
so much
I mean,
poison.
and I do too,
I
because
was just
you're
thinking
not
the same thing.
always able
Ooh.
to see it. Like, you
Yeah.
can't smell it sometimes, it's odorless, like, sometimes
Yeah.
it tastes good. I've definitely drank my fair share, and that's why I say, like, you don't always, even teachers, even professors, can
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
do weird
Mhm.
stuff. There's a lot of weird Svengali stuff that goes on. So, I always say, like, yeah, I mean, take everything in, but if you really want to do something, don't like let someone tell you you're not attractive enough or you're not this or that. Like that was such a disservice to a young person, a very
Yeah.
young, enthusiastic person.
Mhm.
What an asshole.
Ugh.
Yeah. What stupid, bad advice. What
Yeah.
terrible, terrible advice. What a fucking loser.
Yeah. Yeah, give us a name, let's dox him right now. How are you brainwashers? I still have memories of, like, certain things that were said in acting school. I feel like there was some attention of, like, maybe not saying it as direct as what happened to you, Bane, but I remember one teacher, this always will live in my brain, of a specific girl coming on. It was like an on-camera class, and this was like a very pretty young woman in our class, and she got in front of the camera to do her scene, and he was like, "Now, everyone look at this person. Like, does this look like a person who could be on TV?" And everybody
Oh
was
my.
like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Yeah, exactly." He was like, "She fits the mold of like what they're looking for." That's the only person he said that to, too. So like then all the other girls they're, like, getting in there and being like, "And what about me, though?" So
And then it puts the girl who he was supposedly complimenting in this awful position of being like,
right.
"Well,
Cool.
okay,
Yeah.
so now everybody is, that's just the idea. Yeah. It's like cult behavior,
I
Mhm.
you
mean,
know,
acting school is cult
is
and
Yeah.
cult.
beyond. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason we're like, Nexium was all actors, like
Oh
I
my
also
God.
feel like we're susceptible to needing
Yeah,
like
somebody that I was working with the other day said they were referencing an acting school, and I won't say who it was, but they said, "Oh yeah, when I was a victim at blah blah blah,"
Oh
acting
my
called
God.
herself a victim, and I was like, I get it because
Yeah.
we all sort of felt like whatever class it was, there was this unwritten thing of you have to buy into their
yeah.
ideology, whether that was you really need to cut your hair or you really need to, somebody that I know was told to put a toothpick into her upper lip because her lip went down and they're like, oh, and I was like, that's like MGM 1940s
Oh,
stuff. Like
yeah.
that is
That's
so weird.
so unwell.
Who's
That's so
I never even heard of that.
It's so old
cut
school and
me.
it's so strange. And can you imagine saying, "Oh yeah, okay, so cool. So every time I go into an audition, I'm just
Right.
gonna put a toothpick in my upper lip. That'll work. Then I'll book. That'll book."
Oh my God.
God, oh no. Wow,
It'd
yeah,
be
I
so
guess it was
funny if you were like doing an audition, all of a sudden, like the toothpick just drops out
Oh
onto the
my
floor.
God.
Well,
I don't
there's so
even
many
know how that
crazy things. And I think one of the things now that I'm like been doing this a long time and I'm getting older and I feel like, gosh, there's so much noise. I'm just going to try to be myself.
Yeah,
I'm just going to try to be as authentic as I can
Mhm.
yeah.
because all of this stuff that I did in previous decades of like, well, I think they want this and I should wear this and I'll buy these clothes that I would never buy and blah, 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 blah. It's all just this roundabout route of getting back to, well, what if, I mean, and that was one of the things I loved just to bring it full circle about the comeback was everything that I wore on that show. Michael Patrick King was like, whatever she wears to the read throughs, just like copy that. And at that time, I was wearing like these collared short sleeve shirts with like stripes, diesel jeans, and these sandals. And like everything that I wore on the show was just copies of those. Cause he was like,
Mhm.
just let her be herself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
let her be herself. And that was such a powerful message because I had always received the message of like, cover her up. You like,
Mhm.
add this, make her this. Like, let's try to hide what she is
Mhm.
and paint her into this other thing. What a relief for somebody to see you and go like, well, that's exactly right. Let's let's
Right.
just let's just do that.
Yeah.
That's such
Yes.
heaven.
I feel like this is such a theme that's been coming up on the podcast lately of like authenticity. And I guess it makes sense with the question of like, how are we brainwashed? We're all always, so much of it is like to be something else, to
Right.
be
You
somebody
are right.
else, to try to fit in. And yeah, it's such a good reminder that like nobody wants that. Everybody wants someone authentic. And also you want that. Like it's just,
I
yeah, it
also
takes
feel
a
like
long
nobody has the
lesson.
energy to pretend anymore, right? We
Yeah.
don't. I
In your
don't
20s,
have the.
you really have. You try. You certainly try.
Yeah.
And I am tired.
We're
Yeah.
tired. We're tired, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't
Yeah.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. They
Yeah.
told us that when we were young, and I didn't listen. I didn't quite
I know.
understand
Yeah. You
it.
don't understand.
Well, the other
Yeah.
messages were so powerful too.
Right. 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 Right.
Of
Right.
like,
Right.
she's
Right.
the only one who's acceptable to be on TV. The rest of you
Right.
guys, like
Right.
those
Right.
messages
Right.
are so powerful. So it's hard to. I mean, it's still hard. Sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I should do this, or I'm like, well, what would I do if I didn't actually give a shit?
Mhm.
Oh, like, let's try that.
Right.
Mhm.
I got into the pool yesterday. I was like, oh, probably 5 years ago, I'd be like, I don't want to be in my bathing suit in front of all these people.
Right. Right.
And
Mhm.
yesterday I was like, I don't care.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. My brain is now just like, well, there's no changing it now. So you either like
Yeah.
move forward with what's happening or you don't.
I
Like
have but
it's
one life. I have but one
I'm not
life.
gonna
I have this one wild and precious life, in the words of
exactly.
Mary Oliver. And I didn't even shave my legs, you guys. I didn't even
Hell
Absolutely
frickin'
yeah.
I didn't
not.
even
Talk about a
run a
brainwash.
razor.
talk about a brainwash. If someone
Mom.
cares if I have hair on my legs, they should die.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
They should,
Correct.
and they will.
I agree. I
Oh,
agree.
wow. Yeah, wow. Thank you. Thank you, Bayne. This is
This
really
is
such a good
so
reminder.
lovely, you guys. I love chatting with you. It's so fun.
Oh my God, I'm thrilled that you're here talking to us. Should
I
we play
know.
Jenny our last game and then let
Yes.
Bane
Oh, yeah.
go?
Yeah.
Okay,
Jenny.
Bayne, we play one game here on How Are You Brainwashed. It's called casting. It's a game Nicole and I play in our personal lives that we have brought and made now you play, where we pick a
Yes.
category and we cast ourselves within that category. So, you know,
Ourselves and each other.
ourselves and each other.
Love
So
it.
everyone on this call is going to cast everyone on this call. You're going to say,
Okay, I
I,
love it.
Bayne, am a Charlotte. Nicole is
Oh.
Samantha, and Jenny is, who's the other one? Carrie.
Steve.
Steve. Oh, well, I know. I'm always Steve. But obviously, we're not going to do Sex and the City. But is there something that you would like to do? It doesn't have to be a TV show. It could be anything. Or we could brainstorm one all together as family.
Oh, how about like an ensemble, like an outfit?
Oh, I love that.
Oh, like you mean like preppy, like a category
Yeah,
of ensemble?
like I'm gonna put you in,
Oh, whoa.
like
What I'd love to see you in.
Yeah.
Ensemble I would love to see you in. Okay, wow. We be
It
fashion.
was the first thing that popped into my
No, I love it. No one's ever suggested it, and that makes it perfect. You are perfect. Ensemble is perfect. I'm like, I wear the same 3 things all the time, but
And maybe we'll pick an event like you're going you're going to see a Broadway show,
Mm.
right? Like you're
Wow.
just going out for a nice night of New York
Yeah.
City theater.
Yeah.
Maybe you're gonna catch dinner before or after, but it's like it's like just maybe it's a Wednesday night.
Okay. I think we're gonna all take a second, go inside our brains. I'm gonna write it down because I will forget and think about what ensembles we are and each other are.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm so locked.
You're already ready? Oh
It
my
feels
God.
clear
Okay.
to me.
Oh yeah, go.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
No, but hey, I'll give you some more time to think.
No,
No,
because
I
I
need
think
more
I might
time.
I might riff as I
Okay.
I might just
Okay.
riff, yeah.
So what I feel for us and our ensembles, and not in the SAG-AFTRA award way, in the clothing way. I feel I am Palm Springs caftan. I think
Ooh.
like I'm by the pool. I got a big old hat, huge sunglasses, and a pina colada, and I am just in a flowy caftan, luxurious vacation vibes. That feels good to me. My friend Jenny I'm gonna go red gingham top, button down with like a tie at the bottom, and like
Okay.
a gorgeous
Ooh.
pair of sleek light denim jeans with a wide leg, and like a natural sort of natural tan shoe.
Yeah, and yeah,
A
Like
natural tan shoe.
a
not a
nude,
wedge.
nude.
Yeah, but like there's texture to it. It's not like a heel.
Yes.
It's like a maybe a sandal with a little bit of height, a chunky heel. Something sort of, she's
I
like,
want this.
yeah, I really could see you
Yeah.
in this sort of your everyday outfit.
Mm-hmm.
She's going from day to night. She's having fun with her friends, aka me. That's just what I picture you in. I think you should look into this. I think it'd be gorgeous on you.
I'm going to. Thank you.
And Bane, to me, you are just feeling so burgundy plum, sort of leather kind of dress
Ooh.
with like
Wow.
a black boot, kind of like a hot night out in like early fall, going to like a gorgeous dinner, sexy and gorgeous.
I love the
Wow.
autumnal richness
Yeah.
of the burgundy. Ooh.
Gorgeous. Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, do
Okay. Now I gave Bane something I described as pickleball chic.
it.
It's sort of giving skort energy. with a cardigan tied around,
Do you
sort of
you know
like,
I'm a pickleballer,
"Oh, you
right?
are? Maybe I just
Yes.
sensed it in my bones." I got pickleball
Pickleball
chic
chic.
energy from you. Yeah, like a high, thick tube sock with a
Mm.
Yes.
stripe around it, and some very chic little sunglasses, like
Mm.
those little sort of
Yes.
rectangle frame, and like a bold red nail.
Mm.
I love this vision. I love that it's a skirt because I
Yeah.
don't want
It's
to
squirt.
chafe,
No.
because
Yeah.
when you're walking through New York City, the chafing of the thighs
Ugh.
Don't we know?
is a real consideration.
Horrible.
Don't we
Horrible.
know?
Okay, Nicole, I gave you glam, event, gala, updo, mermaid were the words that I put. I'm sort of picturing what you wore to Annie Tip's
Mm.
wedding, just like
Very inside
sequiny.
baseball.
Oh, yes. For those who know, it was like a tube mermaid fit. Was there sequins
Yeah, it
at
was sequin.
it was perfect. That's sort of how when I think of you, I think sequin tube mermaid updo.
Great.
Exactly. And for me, I gave myself matching pajama set, sort of
Mm.
Victoria's Secret
Mm.
J. Crew, sort of maybe like a
Ooh.
silky vibe, buttons, like kind of like what my mom wears when she visits and she wakes up. She's always in sort of like a silk set. And I wish I had that. I sleep in big shirt, no bottoms, as people famously know, but I would love to actually be chic pajama set. And that's me.
Gorgeous.
Okay, is it my turn? Okay.
Yes.
All right. For Jenny, I'm seeing it's a very sleek suit. So it's all black. I want to say almost like an Armani suit set, but a white skinny tie. And then it's like
Ooh.
so remember the girls from the video that's like they're in the background of like simply irresistible, like very cool,
Yes.
and they barely miss.
Yes.
So like the hair is going to be
Yes.
in a low, tight, very sleek bun, low bun. Very sleek,
Yes.
a
I
high
love that.
heel black boot. But the silhouette is very, it's like cigarette pants. The white tie is like the only thing that breaks up sort of like the black. And you're like dashing through the city, mysterious, taking a cab to the theater.
In my dreams. Perfect.
And I think you're seeing something serious you're seeing something serious at
Mm.
the Broadway show.
Yes.
Okay.
Something
Nicole
yeah.
is seeing again, I was seeing almost like a 1920s beaded gown and
Love that.
something that has a
Yes.
little movement, almost like the bottom, the beads are almost like fringed so that when you're moving, it kind of has like a sound and also just like a little bit of a shake. And for no reason at all, you're just painting a little beauty mark on your face.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I am. Yep.
And I'm seeing it in black, but it has like pops of gray. So again, these feel almost like
Mm.
wintry. These feel like wintry looks. I'm not sure. We would just maybe went from
Yes.
fall to winter. For myself, it's orange. It's orange sequins, very short, kind of like Liza Minnelli's one of her looks in Liza with a Z, where it's like, and
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
would never envision this for myself, but so short that like when you bend over, it's like oh, oh, drop anything,
Oh,
right? Like just a very ridiculously short hemline, orange sequins, and like Hoka sneakers because I've got to be practical.
absolutely.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. I want one of those dresses too,
Well, and
actually.
I was watching this documentary about her that like the reason she wore so much sequins was because Halston discovered that like when you sweat in sequins, it doesn't show like pit stains or any sweat stains. So it was actually
Oh.
because he wanted her to be able to
Oh.
look chic, but not because I guess she would sweat a lot on stage and like it would stain her costumes. It was like this way you don't
Right,
see
of
any of the
course.
sweat and it's still chic and the reflection is takes the eye, like, dazzles the eye, but it's also super practical for someone who's gonna be up there working hard,
Okay.
sweating. functional.
Sequins are
I
actually
mean, I think they're pretty
functional.
hot, but like
Huh.
that's why you're gonna sweat through them. But
Right.
then it's worth it. It's
Then
worth
no
it.
one can tell. Oh, well, what fun. I had fun
That
designing
was fun.
That
That
was
y'all's
was
really
outfits.
fun.
fun.
That was really fun.
I am fashion now.
Bayne, this was
Ugh.
so delightful. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
thank
for
you.
Thank
coming
you for
on
having me. I had
pod.
so much fun with you guys.
My gosh, where can all of our listeners keep up with you, support you, follow your awesome
So
work?
I'm just uh at Bayne Gibby on Instagram. I shot a movie a few months ago. I think it might be coming out in the spring. It's right now it's called the Untitled Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Kendrick Lamar Project. And what I can say is I play a
Whoa,
woman who
what?
runs a hat shop, and I think it's gonna be really funny. And what we'll see, because like they're unpredictable, and so we don't know exactly how the movie's gonna get put together. We shot a lot of different things, but that's kind of the next thing coming up. And then I will be in The Terrors of Jordan Mendoza. I'll be in One Moment, which is coming to the Cartoon Network sometime soon. TBD, I'll keep you posted.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Thanks, you
much,
guys.
Bayne.